How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm having a first look on the Kernel map. I've done all the other ones. It says the local energy corporation was preparing a secondary site to expand its main geothermal power plant when a series of planning errors and questionable cost-cutting decisions led to a disastrous failure. During the fracking process, these issues provoked a large-scale seismic event. You've been tasked with assessing the damage, investigating the cause of the disaster, and fixing some shit. Missed the last bit. The vehicle I decided to take was the Kernel, whatever it's called. I sort of wanted to take the Lynx really, but as I unlocked this on the last map, I kind of figured I'll give it a chance to be the first scout on the map. So it says Operation Kernel, Scandinavia, Summer. Following a series of mishaps, all linked to the Echo Corporation, you are assigned to investigate a catastrophic failure at a large geothermal complex. I was looking at that little bridge thing that snapped, like, hear me loaf, he'll fit on there when that's fixed. Already spied that out. Yeah, it's a bit of a rough, brutal map, to be honest. I kind of like it in a way, though. One nice thing with this game is because you can fix roads, you have a bit of say in how ruthless the map is to you.
Imagine you're a responsible corporation and want to tap into an active geothermal zone. Would you use fracking? The most destructive method of resource extraction outside of blowing rocks up? Well, it appears that if your levels of accountability are questionable,
And they might be.
the answer is a resounding yes.
Yep,
The only silver lining
camera's
is
nodding.
these guys in charge will never run out of work, at least until they blow up the whole planet. For now, they almost destroyed the local power plant and a nearby town. So, your task is to check the damage and see if it can be fixed, and thus help devise countermeasures against more of the same happening again. As far as I'm concerned, those countermeasures should include a few execs getting thrown into the slammer for life. But if
Killer's
we're
not messing
on
around,
the
she wants that Epstein list
Right.
released. Yeah, so first things first, like, well, this is the, like, so I'm basically over in near the top left, just to give you a rough scale. I know all the clouds are currently there, but give you a rough idea of where I am relative to the actual map itself. I did delete that in the end, just because it keeps showing up on my thing otherwise, and I sort of get it mixed up with some other flags that I've got about. Yeah, so first one was explore the area nearby. It's the only mission there was, and normally I go off exploring instantly to kind of uncover the edge of the map and stuff, but this time I figured it's literally only down the road. And yeah, I'll kind of give the Kernel a little test, see how it does off-roading wise on this sort of terrain anyway, because obviously I unlocked it on Sandswept, but that's a sandy map. And I believe at some point Kelly says that the tracked vehicles are like the best option on this map. Personally, I don't really agree. They certainly are in some situations, but there's others where like the Lynx would eat this for breakfast over certain off-roading, which I'll get into. I was just heading to the zone and then I decided must immediately do a log climbing test. But it kind of demonstrates, it climbs up the logs very easily because of being a tracked vehicle, but I'm trying to turn left now, and for some reason in this game, vehicles, the majority of the time, tracked vehicles are useless at turning on the spot, so then I kind of lost my footing and just reversed off.
all things are still standing. Still, there's an awful lot of
Kelly's
static
back
on
again.
the van. Soon we'll probably encounter our usual share of problems. And speaking of problems, you probably noticed already, but this area with all its volcanic rock is best suited for tracked vehicles. Just
Yeah, like I say, in some situations it is. A good chunk of this video is like me exploring with the Lynx. Well, it's probably about half the video, just because I figured it was a better demonstration of what the terrain and that's like. Did another log test, but it kind of helps illustrate a point. I like this vehicle, by the way. I think it's pretty decent. It's certainly one of my more favourite vehicles, but it's got a stupid like cage over the winch on the front, and this is a problem that actually bites me later on as well. As I was going down into that dip between the logs, that catches. So I thought, right, I'll back it up, get it out of the way of the road. Little victory horn, even though it failed. And then get this out, and this is like, I've just left the paved area, the garage behind me. This was just to give you a rough idea, the same, heading the same way to where it just said reach that nearby area. Yeah, of like whether one's faster than the other or not. They're probably pretty similar, to be fair, but certainly neither of them are really going to struggle for the most part. And the Lynx, the nice thing is it's got big fat tyres, so it does climb very well, but they're quite spongy and bouncy, and they don't really grip. I mean, those logs are not very well programmed to be like individually grippy and all the rest of it. But this is where the Lynx shines. That dip that the Kralin got its nose caught on, this thing can just like, because the tyres are at the front and back of the actual vehicle, going up and down sections like that are pretty damn easy, which makes what I think, for exploring purposes and stuff anyway, there may be certain rough mud sections which I think the Kralin like tracked vehicles will go through better. So once I got the Lynx out, there's a rough idea. I put some markers down and started heading to them. Yeah, this is the kind of terrain you're climbing across for a lot of it. The rest where there is roads, quite a lot of it is like really deep boggy mud that you sort of, a lot of vehicles will get stuck in or go very slow. So I actually spent like the majority of tonight's, I don't know, playing on this map was, the first bit was driving around with the Lynx just to get some of the edges uncovered. I didn't do the whole map or anything like that. And then building a hell of a lot of roads as well. Found another, you kind of glitch, not under the map, but you go through certain textures. Found like a complete black void zone again that sort of all colour vanishes. But unlike last time in the Sandswept where you could drive along, the base map that you're still on is very flat, whereas this wasn't. Thankfully I was able to fire a winch up through the map, hoist myself back up with a tree, and then sort of get back to where I was going. And yeah, I left a few bits in. I do like this Lynx is very nice for rock climbing, and you think of terrains like this, the Kralin wouldn't stand a chance, because even if I lined it up and it climbs up, it wouldn't be able to turn in certain sections. This is a bit annoying with the game though, particularly on terrain like this. I was holding my accelerator the entire time then, but the game kind of like, it waits until you officially stop before it will go from reverse back to first gear, but obviously the handbrakes aren't necessarily good enough to completely stop you straight away. I had to kind of like wiggle myself along the rock. It's like the 4x4 car version of Lara Croft at this point. Sort of climbing along ledges, jumping, doing front flips, all sorts of stuff to try and get my way around. And yeah, at this point I'd only got like up the side, like the top left bit, and a little bit along the top. And again, yeah, as I was following along, you get to places like this where it's sort of a bit of a cliff drop off, there's some water in the way, so I can't just completely follow like the red wall around the edge of the map. Thinking, right, need a bit of a run up. And most of the time I actually hit that rock a little bit funny, but if you can just land pretty clean on your front nose, it quite often just does a flip and you get back to your wheels. And then there's other bits of terrain, like there's a, it said there was a seismic event. It sort of, to me, reminds me of like a tsunami. Like, it's like post-Japan footage, to be honest, where everything's kind of washed into the water and, yeah, just a bit of a mess going on all over the place. Crossing over there, again, I think the Kralin or whatever it is would have struggled because there's stuff under the water there that this thing just kind of tends to bounce over, really, rather than actually fully get stuck. Just keeping an eye out for some toy trucks. I've not found any yet. I may well have gone past them by now. Obviously I can only look at one thing at a time, really. Sometimes I'm looking off in the distance, sometimes I'm looking what my vehicle's doing. Again, here's another good example. I couldn't be asked, to be honest, to go all the way around, but this thing, I quite like how, even though the game isn't great for it, it's like if you feather your throttle and all the rest of it, you can kind of help boost the vehicles up certain sections that they won't just get up if you just floor it and hope for the best. And as I was driving along, I found this section with, like, you can see ramps going up to the cargo containers, and I was looking and it's like there is enough cargo containers in the water that look like you'd be able to get across them, and then the other side had ramps also going off so you could get back onto the land. So I figured, sod it, while I'm here, even though I could go round, I sort of wanted to see what it was all about, see what the challenge was. Yeah, so I figured I'd give it a go in this thing. Which again, it's I think once you're up here, because it's got ramps, you could do many other vehicles. A lot of vehicles are quite sketchy in this game as far as very fine turning in very tight situations. Like, the tyres tend to skid along a bit and all the rest of it. There probably would be, like, tighter turning vehicles. Maybe the Land Rover would do pretty well at this. But yeah, considering this thing's got big fat bouncy tyres and all the rest of it, I still figured I'll give it a go. It's too tempting. Worst case, I'll either quit and reload. I ended up quitting and reloading once tonight. Why was it? It was something where the game kind of fucked me over a little bit, so I just thought, right, I'm quitting and reloading instead of just driving all the way back. But other than that, I did get stuck a few times and then recover to the garage and drive all the way back to kind of where I was uncovering the clouds and all the rest of it. And yeah, like I say, I left a good chunk of the footage of me driving around like in this thing, just because I figured it'd give you a better idea of the terrain and all that sort of stuff, versus like, yeah, once I actually got stuck into the missions, 2 of the missions are drawing AI routes and all the rest of it, or pretty simple stuff, and then yeah, a massive chunk of it was like road building really, which obviously I cut the absolute vast majority of that out, because we all kind of know what the deal is. I'll show you the end result and all the rest of it, but yeah, just tipping sand and dozing it is like, it's not going to give you as much of an idea of what this map is about than me trying to drive around the edge, for example, where at that point I don't have a choice where I go, other than like I want to go along the edge. It's not necessarily like a nice road laid out for me. There was certainly some little tricky sections like this as well. And again, I think this is the best vehicle by far you're going to get as far as climbing up all this sort of stuff. The Don Malamute's got fat tyres and they're relatively in each corner, but yeah, the fact that these tyres like overhang each corner, you practically never get caught. Every now and then, thankfully, there's a couple of trees. This map has very few trees though, and where there are trees, there'd be a bit of a pain in the arse to get a the Aramatsu crayfish thing there to actually chop them down. Thankfully, one of the first AI missions pays you in logs, which you need for a mission as well, so I kind of had to get that done first. But yeah, climbing up sections like this, I fired that winch out, but I wasn't actually using it yet. I just wanted to see if I could still climb up. Then once my nose started swinging around, I was like, right, just give it a little bit of a pull from the front. That's what she said. Yeah, I believe there is a wall to the left of me, so I'm nearly at the edge of the map. It's just not quite showing up yet. And yeah, I wanted to, like, you can see the flag up ahead, 180 metres away. That was like the top corner, so I believe the top right corner. So I'd already gone across the top of the map by this point. And yeah, again, you can see it. It's funny, this game could almost do like a spin-off rock climbing. I don't know if a full game, but there's definitely like elements of it, with these rocks and all the rest of it, and this vehicle being a pretty good match. They'd probably have to tweak like the grip and the grip on the rocks really, because it's the same with SnowRunner. Rocks feel a lot more slippy in these games than when you watch certain videos on YouTube where off-roaders are climbing rocky sections. They definitely have more grip, I would argue, than what this game or SnowRunner portrays. Again, kind of doing the old Lara Croft scooting along the ledge manoeuvre to climb up there. Yeah, but apart from that, it was quite fun in its own right. For some reason, they put like a big walled off ledge all the way around the top corner, which you can't really get up because there's no trees. Yeah, there's a little front flip diving off a cliff. That's the quick way down. And then yeah, you sort of look for another little section, aim for it, floor it, but you don't always floor it. Sometimes like blip the throttle as well, because then as it floors it and dumps your power in, but just before it's going to dump enough into wheel spin, you let off and then you floor it again, and it kind of just keeps feeding the torque without... I wouldn't want to go low range because you wouldn't have enough oomph, I don't think, by then. But you don't just want to floor it, otherwise your wheel spin and start skidding everywhere. Yeah, so now for a mission, it says reach this location, which looked roughly, to be fair, about in the middle of the map. Probably a little bit north of the middle, but close enough. Yeah, setting off from where I was just climbing those logs before with this thing. And again, I mean, this is driving like I'm kind of aiming directly at it. There is a few roads that I could have used, but this was, again, another chance to kind of just go freestyling across the terrain and see what's going on. Obviously, you got certain sections, and this isn't that difficult of a part of the map, to be fair, but you got all these rocks everywhere, and they do become difficult. And various places got like, it ends as a cliff edge, or I think because it said there's been a seismic event, so like an earthquake. There's like splits in the land, a little bit like Sunken was, although I think it feels better and a bit more natural. And I don't know, with Sunken, like all the holes and everything ripped into the map, you never really needed to fix them as such. There's always, for the most part, other way around. You might put a bridge here and there because it's spanning over the river and whatnot, but this feels more like they've involved the splits in the map that you're actually going to have to kind of pay attention to and fix or work a way around it. Yeah, this is where the Kralin is good though, like zipping along that road, even though that's pretty deep mud, this thing was still picking up through the gears and getting its foot down. I think most wheeled vehicles would just automatically get bogged down, like the way the game's coding is. I think it'll automatically put more of a speed limit on you, whereas this thing actually does drop the hammer. But then you get situations like this where I'm trying to turn left the entire time, and just because you like, I don't know, touching certain map terrain or whatever, I don't know, they haven't really nailed the whole turning left and right in tracked vehicles. If you're on a flat ground or somewhere that's not hooking your tracks by any means, it seems fine. Yeah, here's some like the gouges in the map, and I found a bit where I more wanted it low enough as I drive in, so if it went wrong I could reverse back out rather than dropping off like a sharp ledge. You can see the road in the background where it's kind of like just split at that point, and this is where it bites me with that cage on the front winch. It catches on a rock. I just happened to be deep enough to where it engine flooded and stalled, and yeah, that's me done. So I had to recover to the garage, drove back again. This time I went for it again, but I kind of knew this time stay a bit to the left so that cage thing doesn't catch on the rock on the other side. Again, I like the way the water all washes up and sort of you create a bit of a bow wave and all the rest of it. Yeah, so that at least gets me over there. Again, I'm now connecting back up with like the main road. Oh yeah, fast forward. I was trying to keep the video a little bit short. There wasn't really any like major terrain or anything going on there. Yeah, explore the area, level 20, 5,000 points.
Well, now we know the general extent of the damage. Certainly nothing you can fix overnight, especially since there's no source of lumber anywhere around here. But they do have a sawmill, which probably explains why there's not a single piece of wood in sight. Not much in the way of forests around here.
Look below my waist, Kelly. You might see some wood.
They don't have a mill, but they do have some wood left. Go figure. First, you'll need to clean up the mess at the sawmill's garage entrance. Next, deliver some replacement equipment from the logistics terminal. Then, plan a route from the northern tunnel to the warehouse to deliver the logs. And finally, make sure the logistics terminal can actually be of some use. The terminal itself seems to be fine, but its driveways are all a fine mess. So, you should clean it up too.
Which I think that's the kind of area I'm in now, the terminal thing. Yeah, I was just spinning around and running over pallets for a while. So some of the routes. Here's a northern tunnel to the warehouse, and again it pays you 2 logs per delivery, 30 in total. And for some of the missions you need 15 logs to drop off in a zone, which I haven't got at the minute. It'd take you forever if you tried rounding them all up with the crayfish. And just while I was building roads, Kelly popped up again talking about this sawmill place. Kelly's not happy again with the owners. Yeah, so I started building roads. I kind of skip over it briefly because I keep adjusting them and tweaking them and all sorts. But the general idea was obviously a road, the route that the AI route wanted, and then kind of patching roads all along here. The game has a habit of like branching roads off all over the place. You end up kind of doubling up and paving 2 roads around things and all sorts. Where I was saying earlier, I got the Kernel stuck just to the right of the screen now, really, and this was the official road, which I've now filled with soil to get to be able to cross there. Yeah, this is organised operations at the sawmill, so you just got to clean the zone, and then one of them is also an AI route again, which coming out of that, I believe that's like the terminal kind of area again. I did roads along here. There's that little bridge in quotes that I did. That's where I managed to deploy the scalper, and then yeah, I carried on. Like, the reason why I edited a lot of this out is because near the end of the video I put some more roads down and adjust those AI routes, because you can see at the minute they're kind of crossing each other, and I just wasn't too keen on that. I thought in the long run they'll just start hassling me and saying they've crashed, so while I was in the road building mood and had all the equipment out and all the rest of it, I figured I'd keep laying a few more roads. And then yeah, as I was cleaning this zone out, this bloody Voron, he got here in double time, that guy did. I was like, god damn, trying to get me bloody crane legs in time to move out of the way before he gets 99% of the way and then it says mission failed. Yeah, so that's kind of the 2 halves of that mission though, clearing this zone out and getting the AI there. And I took a crane in the end because the dozer was already further away somewhere else on the map. This crane's not too bad though, it's got enough oomph. I was able to push like 2 cargo containers at the same time. Shove these the van these vans anyway are sort of easier. There are like proper scrap cars on some maps that seem heavier. Nearly tipped there, thankfully the old crane legs pinged out in time. And then thankfully it kind of nudges the van, yeah, and just rolls back like, yeah, goddamn right van, get off my road. So I've got a road leading out of that terminal place, kind of looping around here. Again, you can see other little routes. I've built like a ramp up to the next section there, and then yeah, sweeping along into the sawmill. I think at that point I adjusted it so they don't crash into each other. They're like one's on the left and one's on the right of the road, although one the AI already managed to crash. Next mission, prepare the logistics terminal area. So for some reason you've got to reach location, which is that big circle. It'll be easy, except where that van is kind of stuck. I need to build some sand across there. I've got bridges unlocked, but again, I'm now getting logs, as you can see in the top right, as the AI route is delivering them, but I don't want to use them yet, because for one, I need 15 of them for a mission. So I'm just kind of hanging on to them, hence why I'm just filling everywhere with sand rather than doing a bridge. Got that van rammed out of the way. Well, half rammed. If you pour sand, it kind of moves them by default anyway, which worked out pretty nicely. Bring my dozer in, give it a little smoothening out. And then yeah, there's also two areas that you've got to clear objects, which I ended up going with this because I was here anyway, and I've done it before. I like... It was a bit awkward at the beginning. It's awkward because if you look to the left of my dozer, there's like bits of concrete sticking out the ground, and the dozer kept getting hooked on it. But once I started pushing these, in fairness, I have now got 5 items I was pushing at that point that all get out the zone. And then I go back. I nearly managed to get everything done in 2 pushes basically, but then the tractor started veering off, and I also tried to turn right a bit to keep that pipe going long enough until it rolls out. Sounds like something she said. In the end I kind of lost the tractor and the pipe, so I had to do them separately. But yeah, it might be quicker with a crane, but if it is, I wouldn't say by much. I think that was a pretty successful little go there. Managed to get like the cargo container balancing on a pipe, balancing on a barrel, like some little seesaw act going on. And then yeah, the next zone is over there, 143 metres away. Drive over here, smash the gates open, and same thing really, cleaning the zone out. Which I got a little bit of an eager beaver, tried to just, thought right, I'll just ram everything in one go, done. It was close. If I sat here long enough, you could keep, like, every time you ram into it, it moves like another inch or something. But yeah, I was like, well, I'm not really going to sit here. Funnily enough, I learnt like the art of picking off little bits of the pile after spawning all that cargo on Sandswept, and then spawning like 100 steel beams in the resource thing and pushing it into the construction zone. Kind of got used to that, but yeah, shoved all that out of the way. And then it said goal complete, which is like the first... Normally there's 3 stages, but this one actually has 4. And then Kelly's back.
Not far from your position, and it could help us get the rest of what we need. Could you kindly go and check if it's still there? Same goes for the village nearby while you're at it.
So yeah, got 2 more missions unlocked. I didn't do them tonight because can you see in the top left there's like 1 green bar was lit, but there's actually 4 green bars in total. But the 2 missions, drive to the machine yard and visit, was it Northlock something? I think that's the Northlock one, Northlock Village, and then yeah, Machine Yard. I've already kind of been past that. I pretty much drove through it while I was going around with the Lynx. And then yeah, Loaf, goddamn professional, had to send him in. The AI kept getting stuck on the arm of this thing. These arms on the scalpers are kind of annoying in the scheme of things, to be honest. Managed to get a vehicle in there as well. Yeah, because you can often only deploy them kind of near roads, and then yeah, they span those things out and block it. So you can see the AI routes I've drawn. I've readjusted the roads so they don't have to hit each other or anything, and then I just laid this extra road. And look at this AI driver. It's like, the line is straight. He swerves around the corner, hits a forklift, overcorrects, then overcorrects again, runs over a fence and rocks. And then he does kind of get back onto the road, and I was like, oh good, he's kind of levelling out. Does he become insane again? No. Like, what in the God's name are you fucking doing, man? The line doesn't remotely go that way, or even hint that he needs to swerve off. Look at it. And then I was about ready to quit. He climbs over it, bloody falls off the other side and lands on his roof. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Is this what I've got to work with? The Vorons are good at off-roading, but for some reason they're extra stupid. Again, more on Vorons. Yeah, there's the other AI route, which again, I've kind of rebuilt some road to cut around the other side of the sand quarry and all the rest of it. And neither road is touching officially anymore, so even if they do meet on the little bit they go past each other, I've made the road wide enough to give them enough room and all the rest of it. You can see you end up building roads here, there and everywhere because they kind of branch off all over the place. I built like 3 or 4 different routes through that sand quarry alone, really. I've not paved anything yet, but I more prefer the look at the minute of sand, so I might pave them in the future. I might tweak them before then and all sorts. Yeah, it was just a little view of the AI driving past the goddamn horse, who single-handedly bench pressed the scalper so that they can drive underneath it. That's why you get yourself a loaf. Yeah, again, you can see it's just panning over the camera, all the different various roads I've done and different routes I attempted. That square patch I've gone round, it kind of doesn't let you dump sand there, so it was like there's a bit of a thicker edge than I wanted. And then yeah, that was the end of the night. 9% so far. 2 infrastructure requests, 4 missions, no side objectives, because the first side objective was, yeah, I need 15 logs at the sawmill, which I've now got enough after letting the AI pay me in logs. That's about it, really. The stats, I just put them in at the end quickly, but yeah, that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf, because he's a whopper, and I'll be back soon.